Hi, I'm Ashley Gelhaus, and this is a presentation of my FLP portfolio that I'm going to share with you. So we'll start off with my mission statement that I wrote at the beginning of freshman year. So my mission statement is, I pledge to not let worry overwhelm me by having a positive attitude in everything I do, even when things are tough, knowing I put all my effort into doing my best. I will let the love of Christ shine through me in this way, so I can encourage and support my friends when they are worried and need someone to talk to help them. I will do this by loving myself continuously and constantly seeking God in my life and growing in my faith through prayer and scripture, remembering God loves me for who I am, where I'm at, and He has my life under control. So my mission statement stayed true to me throughout all of freshman year and still applies to me now. I really never realized how difficult freshman year would be. It was a lot of fun, but there were also a lot of challenges that I came across. And I didn't notice how much this mission statement applied until I kind of looked back and wrote this reflection for the portfolio. I had some difficulties with not getting along maybe with everyone on the floor, or having tough times with classes and getting stressed out, and looking back on this mission statement really kind of helped me stay true to who I am and seeking out God, like I say in there, and helping out friends whenever they were in need. And so I definitely say that the mission statement still stays true to who I am today. So now we'll move on to talk about one of my favorite seminars, which you guys also had, was Dr. Dornsife. He came in and talked about passions, and at first it was a little intimidating because we were all sitting in a circle, and he likes to get really up close and personal, as you guys all know. But one of the things that really stood out to me was how he said the most important thing is to follow your passion and follow what you really love to do, and then that's when you know you will be successful. So no matter what it is, and even if people say you won't really find a job in that, you can't make money in that, if you are the best, it is your passion, you will try to become the best at it that you can be, and in that way people will seek you out because you are the best in that field. And so I thought that was really interesting, because at this time, I was trying to think about, what do I want to do? What do I want to major in? What career should I do? And you hear a lot of pre-med, and even for me it was nursing, and I wasn't exactly sure that that's where I wanted to be and if nursing was for me, but I thought that it was a good career to start off in, and I could get a job and earn money. So hearing Dr. Dornsife say that it doesn't really matter the money that you make or what other people think, as long as you follow what you want to do, really made me reflect on why I wanted to do nursing and if it really truly was what I wanted to do. This also relates to my strong faith background. What he talks about reaffirms my belief that God calls me for something and I must answer that call, and I shouldn't worry about money and how my future will turn out. If I follow God and what He wants me to do, He will provide for me and everything will be okay. So kind of I was put on this earth for a reason, and if I follow my calling, which is following my passions and following what I'm good at, but also what I truly enjoy spending my time doing, then I will enjoy what I do and be the best at what I'm doing. So that one was one of my favorites. There were many other good seminars, but this one really stood out to me and stuck with me for the rest of the year. So now I'll talk a little bit about the Thanksgiving dinner. For the Thanksgiving dinner, I was the head of the food prep committee, and this position was a lot of fun and a lot of work, but it was also really challenging. Signing up for it, I didn't realize how much work would kind of go into it and all the little details you had to work through, but I really enjoyed putting my leadership into action and being able to head such a fun committee. I love baking and cooking and all of that, so I was super excited to be the head of this committee. One of my biggest challenges, I think, was trying to get everybody involved and excited to also work in this committee and be able to come to the meetings and put in their work and their time. And so that was challenging, but eventually working with everyone, we all got through it and made it happen and turned out really well. I was also really surprised that even though I was the head of the food prep committee, that I learned that as a leader, you also rely on other people in your group that are also leaders. So even though they're not the head person who's planning out everything, everyone has a leadership role and is really beneficial in the group. Someone who really helped me was Jose, and he kind of stepped up and was like, Ashley, I'll help you with anything, like I'll do anything, just tell me what I need to do. And he was kind of always there making sure that the plan was also moving smoothly, because he wanted the dinner to come out well and successful as much as I did. And so that kind of reminded me that everyone is on a team and working together, and everybody is important on that team and can provide essential leadership qualities and help throughout the dinner. So everything basically got done in food prep, and I couldn't have done it without everybody working together. So I think that's one thing that I really learned from the Thanksgiving dinner and being the head of this dinner, because some things didn't go as planned, and sometimes you wouldn't know what to do, but then someone else who maybe isn't as stressed or not as much, they don't have the head decision making, they're just hey, step back, we should just do this, and it's really a simple answer that maybe you didn't see. So having those different perspectives really helped. So there's some fun pictures here of us having fun making mashed potatoes, and then just something that was before we were plating, and so it was still a lot of fun even though it was a lot of work. So, yeah. There's lots of pumpkin pie. So yeah, it was overall a successful event, and I think we all had a really good time with it. So now we can move on to the next category. I'll talk a little bit about service. I was truly blessed to have gotten to go to Precious Memories for service, and talking to some other people, I noticed that not everybody really likes Precious Memories a lot, because the kids can be really obnoxious and crazy, and sometimes not the most well-behaved. But I was able to go to Precious Memories both first and second semester of my freshman year, and I felt truly blessed to be able to do that, because I was really able to cultivate relationships with the kids there. And although we see it as service and just going once a week, and yes, we're just supposed to play with the kids, and that doesn't seem like a whole lot to us, just reading books or running around with them, or sitting there watching them do something or color or build blocks, we don't realize how much it probably means to them, because especially Precious Memories, which is a nonprofit organization, these kids don't have that family background that we probably had growing up, and it was cool to just come in and have all the kids run to you and hug you and just have a huge smile on their face. One of the boys that I worked with, I once showed up to service, so a short story, and I really didn't want to be there that day. I was having a bad day, and this one boy that I had seen before, and we kind of hung out a little, came up to me, and he was like, "Can you read with me?" And we spent the whole hour just reading books. And then when I told him I had to go, he was really upset and was like, "No," and it's okay, I'll be back next week. And so almost every week we would sit down and read books together, and he was also super smart, and then he would want to read the book to me, and it was really cool how much they enjoyed it, and I could see that I was kind of being a role model to them, or someone there that they knew they could rely on to be there and taking time to let them see that they are important and they're special, and that they probably felt really cool that someone older than them was taking the time out of their day to pay attention just to them and work with them. So I think service is a great opportunity through FLP, and really kind of lets you see service in a different side and leadership in a different side, which kind of leads me into my next point, and I'll talk about one of my favorite leadership styles, so types of leadership, and I'll talk about servant leadership. So servant leadership is one of my favorite types of leadership, and I see it as focusing on others before yourself. It's being with a natural desire to serve others first. In order to be an effective leader, you need to focus on others before being a leader yourself. So this type of leadership focuses on doing everything that's best for the group and not putting yourself first, but focusing on what do you need, what can I do to help you, and what can I do to make the overall outcome the best that it can be. I think first, a servant leadership needs to be a good listener. A leader can't just hear people, they must truly listen and try to understand what the people they are leading and serving say and need. And by doing this, you can make sure to provide the best type of leadership and care. I think this kind of leadership can be portrayed in many types of situations, and I saw it a lot in our service side at Precious Memories. And a lot of people don't think of service as being like leadership, but we had to kind of listen and be there for the kids and be like, what do you need? And maybe at that time they just needed someone to, play with and take worries off their minds that they might have, or just make them feel important. And that's something that stood out to me. Another characteristic that maybe not everyone would see in servant leadership is healing. After understanding what the problem is, and you need to try and do what you can to make them feel better and address it. You also need to be aware of everything that you do and how it affects others, and see the bigger picture of your actions, not just how they affect you, but everyone else around you. So this kind of also plays off of the justice part of service, and that you have to see the bigger picture of your actions and how what you do is going to affect them in the long run, which I hope as in service that me being a mentor to them maybe can encourage them and make them happier and encourage them to maybe go to school or keep reading and learn. And maybe if they didn't have those mentors, they wouldn't have that much encouragement to do likewise. So a servant leader is committed to helping others and helping them grow in themselves and in the community. You should have to do what is best for other people first before yourself. And you can do this and still hold true to your own values as well. Being a servant leader helps people trust you and know that you are serving them and doing what you can as a leader to help them and lead them. So servant leadership is my favorite, and I see it utilized in a lot of areas of my life. And it also kind of leads in to other types of leadership as well. So now we can move on to my leadership plan. So this is kind of looking at what I wanted to do with my leadership and how I wanted to use it in the future. So some of the things, this year I've been involved in a lot of different things and a lot of different organizations, and probably too involved in too many organizations. But there were some that I noticed that I really wanted to get more involved in and continued to be in. So Peak was one of them, which is peer education at Creighton. And so my dream, which was like what I'm aiming to do, was to continue in Peak and maybe eventually have like an exec position in Peak. So they work with spiritual and mental health and physical health, and just kind of promoting healthy lifestyles all around. So further down, maybe you become president or even just as a committee vice president. Then another way that I want to lead is through ministry. And so I'm involved in campus ministry and music ministry on campus. And so I want to continue to lead through two things that are really important to me, God and music. So with music, I am a cantor at St. John's, and so I really just want to continue to cantor and be able to worship God through music. Also in CSO, which is the Catholic Student Organization, I want to lead a Bible study and become kind of that role model to other people, because I know my Bible study leader was truly a role model to me freshman year and was able to help me in a lot of difficult times throughout the year. And I also want to continue my leadership in CSO by trying to get a leadership position on the exec team. Probably not president, but something to get involved and help me stay involved in a community that was really important to me. And then lastly, there's a new a cappella group on campus, which was the Crescendas, and I really wanted to stay involved with that, and now even wanted to develop this new big a cappella group that I was really excited to be in, and continue to make relationships and have a leadership position in that by becoming president of that organization or a different a cappella organization. So the approach is kind of like how you're going to go about this, and basically how I saw it was just to continue to stay involved, to just continue being a presence in these organizations that mean a lot to me and I've spent a lot of time with, and meaning that I need to give my time and energy to being at rehearsals for a cappella, going to peak meetings, going to Bible study and talking to my Bible study leader, figuring out how did you get in this role, how what did you need to do, or what is most rewarding from you to figure out like how I can be the best Bible study leader I can be, or talking to people in peak exec positions or CSO exec positions and figuring out why did you want this position, what does this position entail, what did you enjoy about it, what didn't you, and so kind of like feeling the grounds and just making myself really prevalent in those organizations as a whole. And so then the connection is just kind of like how it connects to me as a person and leadership. And so I said my mission statement emphasizes on being a positive person people can look at and encouraging and helping people by letting Christ's love shine through me. So I want to continue to be a part of Peak and music and ministry because it's just central to who I am, to let my light shine and be a positive influence to others, which I believe all these organizations do. So then we'll move lastly to English 150, which is a class that all FLP students take. And in our class, second semester, we focused on 3 main projects. And the first one we did was create an advertisement video for the Real Creighton. And so this kind of emphasized what we see in Creighton and what we see as really important and what we enjoy and want other people to see emphasized about Creighton. So it was really interesting to focus on the question of why I came to Creighton and especially how to decide like what was most important to feature in this video, like what do I want people to see as being most important to me and most important for them that would want them to come here. So we kind of worked in a group on that, and so got to see different leadership styles in that way and how different people come about group projects. And then one of my favorite things we did was read a book, A Man's Search for Meaning, and we wrote kind of like a reflection paper on that about ourselves, and so finding meaning in our life and making every minute of our life worth it was, which I kind of saw connected to Dr. Dornseif's talk about following your passion and kind of finding a purpose in your life. And so in this book, he is in a concentration camp and is able to survive the concentration camp by finding meaning in his work and writing his manuscript, and also focusing on the love that he had for his wife. And so it overall meant that you need to have a reason in your life and something you're striving for in order for you to attain it, and in order for you to get through tough situations and to really emphasize the good situations in your life. So we looked at the meaning of life a little differently. We looked at the things in society that may pose as a challenge and stop us from reaching our ultimate meaning or purpose in life. So we kind of went the opposite way, and not just what is your purpose of life, but what's preventing it. And it was a more personal one, and it was more like a reflection paper. For me, one of the things that has really affected me as a person and makes me the person I am today. So we just kind of talked about like some of the things that, like for me, that affected me in high school, that kind of made it difficult for me to like love who I am and be confident in who I am as a person. But it was cool to, in this class, be able to address those things and talk to classmates about it, to realize the things that were blocking us from like our true purpose and ultimate meaning in life. So that was a little reflection about the English class. And it was cool to be with a whole group of flippers and get to do it all with them because you kind of already know them. That's a little glimpse at my portfolio, so I hope you enjoyed it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was really good.
That's probably better than when I did it.